ॐ विश्वं दर्पणदृश्यमाननगरी तुल्यन्निजान्तर्गतं पश्यन्नात्मनि मायया बहिर्वोद्भूतं यथा निद्रया यस्साक्षात् कुरुते प्रबोधसमये स्वात्मानमेवाद्वयं तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये बीजस्यान्तरिवाङ्कुरो जगदिदं प्राङ्निर्विकल्पं पुनः मायाकल्पितदेशकालकलना वैचित्रचित्रीकृतं मायावीव विजृम्भयत्यभिमः योगी वयस्वेच्छया तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्तिः 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 सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् ॐ सेकेण्ड् मन्त्र यदर्चिमद्यदणुभ्यः अणुश्च यस्मिन् लोका निहिता लौकिनश्च तदेतदक्षरं ब्रह्म स प्राणस्तदुवाङ्मनः तदेतत्सत्यं तदमृतं तद्वेद्धव्यं सौम्य विद्धि. So, tadaksharam brahma, akshara, which is the cause of the universe. This section 2 and the section of this second chapter deal with this Jagat Karanam Ishvara. And in the first section we have seen that, well, Jagat Karanam Ishvara has how to ascertain what are the characteristics of this. What are the characteristics by which we can understand that this is Karanam. And we have ascertained it that, well, existence is the most common factor. In order to decide the Karanam, cause there are four things. Four factors are there. And apply those four factors. And well, a given thing, suppose it fits with these four factors, well, that is considered as a cause. Ekam, and then Saram, Nityam, and Satyam. So, well, then we look into the creation, various names and forms. What is the cause of all the names and forms? What is the most common? Because Ekam means what is most common. And what is most common we found in all the names and forms is existence. And then Saram, that's an essence, means without which a name and form cannot exist. Name and form cannot remain. That's essence. And that is existence again. If you take away existence, any name and form becomes non-existence. And therefore, existence is one which pervades all names and forms, which is Ekam, which is most common, which is essence, which is Nityam. Nityam means which will not change. Existence won't change. And therefore, so existence won't change. And everything changes. Name and form changes, which has a borrowed existence called name and form. It undergoes a change. And therefore, well, the existence is Nityam. Existence cannot be Anityam. Existence cannot be Anityam. Well, it's a contradictory statement. Existence is Anityam. It is a contradictory statement. You think over. I will tell you the answer also later, but you think over. Existence is Anityam. Anityam means which was which won't remain permanently. That cannot be. Which won't remain permanently means which will become non-existent. So existence can become non-existent. That's how it is possible. So if it is a existence by nature, well, then that thing will be Nityam also. And Satyam, which cannot be negated. Other than existence, you can negate in a given thing. Other than existence, you can negate. You can negate whole pan. Really. This name and form is negated and some another name and form will come. Right? And then that will be negated, some another name and form will come. That will be negated, some another name and form will come. The very existence which pervades entire all the names and forms in a given name and form. Well, that is never available for negation. And therefore, in an external world, the existence seems to be the Jagat Karana. And in an internal world, this is not the anyway, but this is the internal world. I mean the body, mind, sense complex, well, definitely. Here also the cause of, because if, but how Swamiji, why do you come to this body, mind, sense complex? Be there in the world. No, because if it is ekam, and this existence is the cause, which is one, which is essence of all names and forms, then why do you want to exclude this name and form? For what? For what? All means all. So this name and form, also a given body, mind, sense complex, well, and here also the existence must be the cause. Yeah. But here one more addition, we will have to add one more thing, and that is consciousness also. And that so existence, consciousness is the cause here. And well, people join late. Anyway. So existence, consciousness is the Jagat Karana. And we have seen also that apply to this consciousness. Ekam, Nityam, Saram and Satyam should be applied to consciousness also, which we have already applied to existence. And if we are able to apply it to the consciousness, well, then existence and consciousness are not two different things. Existence is consciousness, consciousness is existence, which is Jagat Karana. And that is true. Consciousness is one. Just forget about other names and forms. Right now, just take this body, mind, sense complex. And you will find the cause of that is the consciousness, existence, and which is one. How do you say one? Well, because it is available in all the three states, one. And Saram, well, it is the very essence of this body, mind, sense complex. It's the very essence of all the experiences. It's the very essence of all the, any experiencer called waking state experiencer or a waker, and a dreamer or a deep sleeper. Without consciousness, no one can stand. Without consciousness, experience cannot take place of a waking state. Without consciousness, waking world cannot exist. Without consciousness, dreamer cannot be. Without consciousness, dream experience cannot be. Without consciousness, dream objects cannot be. Without consciousness, there is a question of deep sleep state to you in order to experience even the blankness. You say there is a blankness, means consciousness is required. Oh, the consciousness is the very essence of entire three states. That's a life. That's a given name and form. Well, this so-called living being, the consciousness is the very essence of it. And one consciousness pervades all the three states also. Ekam, and then Saram, and then Nityam. Consciousness cannot be negated. Waker is negated and dreamer comes. Dreamer is negated and it is, they are negative means basically, well, that we will call it as a Satyam. But here, waker goes away, impermanent, let's say that way, okay? Waker goes away, dreamer comes. And dreamer goes away, that deep sleeper comes. So they are Anityam, changing. Even in the waking state, waker changes all the time. All the time. Right now I'm a seer and then hearer and this doer and etc. etc. So many things. So depending upon the object of experience, the waker also keeps changing. Waker is not just constant. Waker also changing. And waker, and very, very simple argument is, waker means what? I am a waker. Okay. So then if you are a waker, then definitely that aham vritti should be there. Without that, where is the question of that I am a waker to say that? Well, you require aham vritti. Well, aham vritti, if it is aham vritti, well, the vritti is a very, very temporary thing. So depending upon the object of experience, the aham vritti arises. When that object goes away, aham vritti also goes away. Sometimes again aham vritti arises, again goes away. And constantly changing also. Vritti is not a constant, you know very well. It is constantly arising and going. So The very waker, dreamer, all are constantly changing, therefore anityam. But the consciousness on which all the three are placed, basically, or based, that does not undergo change. Okay, so therefore it is nityam. Nityam is not changing, and satyam cannot be negated. Waker is negated, dreamer is negated, etc. But the consciousness is not negated. That is. But then you are saying I am. You are saying something like that. I am. I am. Yeah. And now you are saying I am consciousness. So I am applies to both. Yeah, applies to both. Yeah. I am waker. It's a correct statement? Yeah, it's a correct statement. I am Brahman or I am consciousness, that's a correct statement. I am Jagat Karanam is a correct statement. It's a correct statement. What is this? Because Jiva, the waker cannot, Brahman cannot be waker. Because waker is Brahman. But anyway, so consciousness is not waker. Consciousness is not dreamer. Consciousness is not even a deep sleeper. Consciousness transcends all the three. It doesn't transcend. That's a wrong statement to say transcends. As if it has some kind of an agent. He is an agent. So as the waker comes, it wants to transcend. It kya baat hai? By nature it transcends. Because either of the three does not affect the consciousness at any time. So consciousness always transcends. So Pujya Swamiji says we should not say consciousness transcends the three. As if they are coming and this fellow is running away. What is this? It is not like that. Consciousness does not transcend at all. Then why you only were saying, Swamiji? We are not saying, yeah. Now I am correcting, okay? So consciousness does not transcend. Consciousness, the nature of consciousness is such in which the waking experience or a waker, etc., they are all full of attributes. No one has a capability to touch. Why? Mithyatvat. And therefore they can't touch. And therefore it always remain transcended. Okay, we can say, if you want to say. It always remain transcended. Even if I feel that I am affected by this. I am never affected by anything of any state, any experience. Anyway, so basically the existence principle which you have discovered as a Jagat Karanam in the external world, is this consciousness. And consciousness is existence. Existence is consciousness. This is one other way of looking. And internal and external, all is with respect to this physical body. In any name and form, definitely is non-separate from this existence and consciousness. Jagat Karanam. Being Jagat Karanam, any name and form will be non-separate from that Karanam. The Karyam is always non-separate. And therefore, this is from the standpoint of this body, which itself, has no saram, which is Karyam, which has no saram, which is, which is anityam, and which is mithya. And therefore, one existence consciousness, let me answer that question. That I am Brahman is a correct statement? Yeah, it's a correct statement. I am Jiva, Waker, etc., I am Ahankar, etc. is a correct statement? It's a correct statement. From a one standpoint, yes. From a Vyavahara standpoint, from an empirical reality standpoint, we say. Or from a standpoint of accepting the experience, etc. That I am Waker, that's my experience. I am a dreamer is my experience. Okay. Let's take into account that experience. And so, we say that's this is a reality. But really speaking, that I is Brahman. That's a real meaning of it. We call it as a Paramarthikam Satyam. And therefore, there is nothing wrong. When I say I am Jiva, there is nothing wrong. In a Vyavahara, it is a correct statement. But the reality is that my nature is Brahman, which is Jagat Karanam. And consciousness, in all living beings, consciousness definitely manifest, because there is an additional medium here. And in the world where this medium is not there, called subtle body, existence pervades. Consciousness also pervades there. It's not that consciousness remains here and tells existence, you go and pervade everywhere and I will remain here. It's not like that. It's existence, consciousness is there. That is the Jagat Karan. That is the reality. That's the essence. But the consciousness, even though here it pervades, being Karanam pervades it. but it doesn't, doesn't get a chance to manifest as consciousness. Please understand, I am telling you again and again, because this confusion somehow doesn't go. This confusion just doesn't go, that one consciousness pervades the entire creation. Then immediately question comes, if consciousness pervades the creation, this thing also should be pervaded by consciousness, then this thing should be conscious. It cannot be, because it doesn't have an additional medium, and therefore consciousness can't manifest as a consciousness. It's not that that Brahman has three features and existence goes somewhere and consciousness goes somewhere. Ananda goes to a few places. It's not like that. Ananda goes to some place, not to here, not to Swami Muktatmananda. He's always sad guy. But this, so basically it's not. That's how Puja Swamiji says this happiness, Ananda, etc. is this limitlessness, nothing else. That's the correct meaning. Anyway, what I'm saying is, it's one Karanam. All names and forms are superimposed on it, and including this physical body, and this subtle body, and the mind, and the senses, all are superimposed. They are mithya. They don't have any essence. They are just an appearances. When you think like that, then the division goes away. External, internal, etc. This division. And all divisions are based on name and form, which are mithya. So when I say something is external, well, it is in comparison with this gross body or a subtle body, whatever. So basically, this due to that, but that itself is a mithya. Not that I am in the body. Then definitely you can say this external world. Well, you are not in the body. All the bodies are non-separate from you. That's how they said here. Yasmin lokaha nihitaha. All the lokas. Where is the question of one body? All the lokas and lokinascha. All the jivas which are there in these 14 lokas. Where all the living beings in the 14 lokas and all the lokas all are placed in this Jagat Karanam Ishvara. Naturally, all the effects, all the karyams are always placed. Not that we are placing. Right now it is in my hand, and now I am placing it on the table. It's not that. If I am placing it on the table exists independent of the pen exists independent of the table, then where is the question of Satya-Mithya relationship? So Satya-Mithya means Mithya is always non-separate from the Satya. They share the existence. Satya-Mithya thing always share existence. And therefore, the reality, the very existence of all the lokas and existence of all the living beings and their bodies is the existence of that cause of that. And that is Brahman. And that is you. So you basically share existence with this name and form, this physical body, this mind, this sense, all the senses, and you share existence with all the things. And that is how this also exists, because you share existence with that. And therefore existence of the pen is existence of consciousness. The existence of the pen is the existence of Atma. Existence of the pen is existence of you. You the existence. Share the existence with any name and form in the world. Yasmin lokaha nihitaha lokinasya. All the living beings are placed. And therefore this Jagat Karanam, Ishvara and the world, there are no two things. Like table and pen are two different things. But it is not like that. And I gave you example also that you can never say wave and water. You can never say. Or you cannot say ocean and water also. You can't say. You can't say. There's a wrong way to say. Same way for Vedikas, there is no Ishvara and the world. There is no Ishvara and the world. Ishvara and the world is for Christianity. Ishvara and the world for the Muslims. And Ishvara and the world for whoever who says that there is a creator of the universe, who is definitely separate from it, staying somewhere in the seventh heaven or whatever. Well, that's an entirely different thing. That's a wrong understanding of Ishvara, creating several doubts. And well, I don't want to go into that. But so world and Ishvara. No, that's not correct statement. The correct statement is Ishvara. Because world and Ishvara means Mithya and Satyam. So then you cannot have that relationship or two independent things. Mithya means which is seemingly existent. Now I can say, right, Panchadashi we are doing too much of analysis of all this world or that Maya and Sadasat Vilakshanam. Well, I will be there in the afternoon to again make you bore. What I am saying is world and Brahman, world and Jagat Karan or Ishvara. Not correct statement. But then you say there is a world. Let's say there is no Ishvara. Then you are no more a Vaidika. Okay? If you want to say, you will be a Charvaka. You will be a Charvaka who believes just in a perception. Who believes that there is a perception. What I see is reality. I don't find any cause. What I see is this world. You don't find a cause behind it. But then many things you don't find a cause. What is the cause of that? Yeah, there must be a cause. Who is some human being with a certain intelligence? Well, but do you see him? No. Then why do you believe it? Why do you believe it? Swamiji, you are really a fool. Because this is, don't you see this is a very nice creation. It serves a certain purpose and all that. Right? It serves a certain purpose. Therefore, some intelligence must be there behind to create it. And they are not put together automatically. Put together by intelligence, by conscious being. That's called intelligence. And therefore, definitely, same way, well, the world also is put together. Put together intelligently, serving a certain purpose called Sangataha. And therefore, definitely, and that is said by Shastra. Never say independently that this world is put together, intelligently put together and serving a certain purpose. And it is told by Shastra. Okay? You cannot prove it. To a scientist, you cannot prove this thing. Scientists will say something else. And he says, varieties of theories are there. But what I am saying is, this itself comes from a sixth pramana. Sixth pramana? Yeah, sixth pramana. What is that sixth pramana? Shastra. 5 are there, perception, and the sixth one is this. This 5 talks about only Paurushaya, Vishaya. Talks about Karya. The sixth pramana talks about Karanam. Yeah, Apaurushaya. And therefore, somebody goes and comes back. Somebody goes and comes back. I don't know for why. So, regarding Karyam, well, Ishvara has given you the means. 5 means are given. 5 pramanas are given in order to prove the world, in order to prove the Karya, in order to prove the names and forms. And all the names and forms has the different attributes. And to grasp the attributes and ultimately grasping the object, well, the 5 senses are enough. But to the cause, which is free from attributes, which is the subtlest, which cannot be grasped by the senses, then some other sixth pramana has to walk in. It has to walk in your life. And one who accepts that sixth pramana is a Vaidika, is a Vedanti. And he says Ishvara is a Jagat Karanam. Ultimately, to prove that Jagat Karanam Ishvara, well, definitely is present here also. And well, and that existence consciousness alone is Jagat Karanam, and that I am consciousness, and therefore, well, ultimately, so this is the meaning of I from the standpoint of a Vedanta, that well, I, the consciousness, is Jagat Karanam. Well, from the standpoint of a Vyavara, that the same I we can say as a Jiva, from the standpoint of a Paramartha, from the standpoint of a reality, well, I can say I am Brahman. So there is nothing wrong. When Vyavara is there, Brahman cannot do any Vyavara, and so he does as a waker Vyavara, or he does as a dreamer, he does a Vyavara. Fine, that's fine. That's fine. Everything is non-separate ultimately. Therefore, even Ahankara is non-separate from this Atma Sakshi. And Ahankara in terms of a waker, well, is non-separate from the Sakshi. And therefore, without Sakshi, without consciousness, there is no Vyavara at all. But Sakshi, consciousness, does not do any Vyavara. Well, but it's sannidhi, it's just presence. Well, it is in the form of presence, existence, and consciousness in its presence. All the names and forms which are non-separate from it, well, do the vyavahara, do the activity. Anyway, so this Karana Ishvara is basically in which all these worlds are placed, and the living beings. Lokinasya means the living beings also are placed along with. Then it says Tadetat Aksharam Brahma. Tad means that Karana Ishvara is Aksharam. I think this part also we saw, but anyway, it's imperishable, means Nityam, which does not undergo any change. And so Ekam, Saram, Nityam, Satyam, etc. we have seen. And well, Ksharam means basically, Nashaha, destruction. Aksharam, indestructible, imperishable, means it does not undergo any change. So basically, perishing here means changing. That's all. There is no other perish. So Nashaha, we don't have any kind of a destruction. Totally become non-existent. It's not so. The previous state goes and the new state appears, that state goes. So we should say the destruction of the previous state. That's all. And therefore it is called it is just a change. So therefore, well, and this Aksharam is Brahma. Brahma means it is eternal, limitless, space-wise, time-wise, limitless, etc. So Tadetat, that's a beautiful thing is Tadetat. Tat means that Karana Ishvara, well, which is generally popular in the Shastra is Tat, and that Karanishvara is Etat, which is most intimate. It is not remote. It's intimately available. Intimately available means where? Where should I look into me intimately? Well, just what we call? Pinch. Just pinch yourself. Yeah, just pinch is enough. You will find a consciousness, right? And so it is so near. And therefore consciousness is not basically, it's not a remote thing. It is intimately available. In my body itself, I'm able to experience the sentiency. So that consciousness, understand now, it's available here. And therefore a doubt may come that the consciousness may be the part of it, maybe the property of body, etc. Well, or maybe the product of the body. No. Consciousness is not a part, product, and property of the body, yet consciousness is available here, which is independent, because it has manifested here. And that consciousness is this Karanishvara. And so Tadetat is a Mahavakya. That Karanishvara is Etat, intimately available as the very consciousness in the body, etc. is available as I, basically, available as I. And that Karana Ishvara is in what, how many forms? Well, it is in the form of everything. And well, then it says here, Tadetat Satyam, that alone is the reality. So Saha Pranastu Vang Manaha, Saha Pranaha. And Tad Vang, Tad Manaha. So that Ishvara alone is in the form of a body, in the form of a prana, in the form of a senses, in the form of a mind. Means that everything is that which is here is Ishvara alone, that Karanam alone, naturally. And so Tadetat Satyam, well, that alone is the reality. Now what is the definition of reality? Having existence of its own is a reality. So what does not have an existence of its own is mithya. We have done it. And so when you say world is, name and form, and I am generally now taking all the names and forms, world is, well, then the isness is in the world. Isness not of the world. We should know that very clearly. It does not, existence does not belong to the world. Existence in the world is okay. Because when you say belongs to, becomes a property. Please understand. It belongs to the world. This becomes a property. Like they give an example of a moonlight all the time. Very nice example. That, well, when you see the moonlight, you say, well, the light is in the moon. Many people say light of the moon. But that's not correct. When you see, what happens is when you say off, then definitely automatically proves there are two things. When you say off means a relationship, right? The sixth case in Sanskrit grammar is for sambandha. And whenever sixth case comes, you put off, right? Ramasya putraha, like that. Or Dasharathasya putraha, the son of Dasharatha. Then you off. indicates there are two things. That's a relationship. Relationship involves at least two things. And therefore, when you say the light of the moon, means as though the light is independent and moon is independent, they are connected. That's not the case. Light is in the moon. Light available in the moon, etc. That is the definition of a moonlight. Same way here also, Vedanta says, well, don't say the existence of the world. So existence in the world, which is available in the form of is in all the forms, well, that isness is this Satyam, is this Jagat Karanam, Ishvara. So isness does not belong to the world. Isness is in the world, in the form, in the varieties of the names and forms. It does not belong to the world, because world is just an appearance, right? And so without existence of its own, and therefore don't say existence of the world, because world is appearance. World does not have an existence. World has a borrowed existence. I told you that basically I, the consciousness, the Brahman, basically share the existence with all the names and forms, including this name and form, including start from the very Ahankara. Aham Vritti itself, the Ahankara is a name, and there is a Vritti which is a form. And so Ahankara and all this Aham Karta, Aham Bhokta, Aham Pramata, etc. And then all the names and forms pertaining to the memory and all your decisions and every way, every Vritti, every single thought in name and form, you pervade everything. You pervade everything. And of course senses and other things and the whole world. You, the existence consciousness, which can be told in the form of I am, etc. That I am which does not undergo a change, which is Nityam, which cannot be negated. You can negate what is after I am, definitely. You can negate. You are definitely no more a son. Really. You are no more a son when father goes away. Right? So I am a son. That status of the sonhood or whatever. So, well, it goes away. If father is not there. If father is not there, where is the question of son? No, but mother is there. Okay, mother goes away. If parents are not there, you are no more a son. And therefore, after I am, whatever you are putting is subject to negation. What is subject to negation? Or what comes and goes later is mithya. And that sonhood has a bearing on I am. If I am is not there, the existence consciousness is not there, where is the question of son? So sonhood has a bearing on I am. But I am is independent of the son. Simple to understand. Right? It is very simple. So I am is Satyam. And what you add after I am is all mithya. But for an ignorant person, I am is of no importance. What is after I am is important. Yeah. I am, what are the attributes of I am? Please let me know. What are the attributes? All attributes are added attributes. By addition of that word which you put after I am. All attributes come due to that. So I am son, once you say, all attributes, starting from the sonhood. All attributes, good son, bad son, this son, that son, whatever. Obedient, disobedient. So please understand, it is a matter of an intimate experience. Aparoksha, this is called aparoksha. That I am can never, I am need not be revealed by any pramana. It does not reveal also. It does not reveal any pramana. Tell me which particular sense organ reveals I am. And if that sense organ is not there with you, do you think you are not? Sir, even all the sense organs are absent. Suppose, I hope nobody should lose any sense organ. If all sense organs are absent, still I am shines. Yeah. This is called aparoksha jnana. Of aparoksha vastu called I am, in which M stands for existence, I stand for consciousness. And I am son, etc. That's also correct. That's also a reality. This is called jiva. Right? And there the vyavahara is involved. Son, father vyavahara. without Vyavahara, just I am. Pujya Swamiji calls as just a being. Just a being. And you need not you need not have that, let me have this just being. That you are that. You are that. That's the reality of you. You don't have to go for a special experience in order to be just to be. Need not be. People say like that. I really wonder. I am is the reality. All other things are projected. And therefore, whatever may be the state, you may be in state of ignorance, or you may be in the state of knowledge, or you may be you may be a very enlightened person. That I am always shines in its own glory, which is the truth of you. Other than that, what you add and consider it as a reality, that's ignorance, that's adhyasa. I am a sun, that sunhood is superimposed upon I am. It's a merely superimposition. For ignorant person, all the three are equal reality. I am also is a reality, and the sun also is a reality. They don't understand that the sun is with respect to, it's just a point of view. With respect to father, it is you are a son. If they are not, their parents are not, there is a question of your son. But then I am continues. I am is a self-shining, self-revealing, which is the cause of entire universe, which is existence, consciousness, on which all the names and forms are superimposed, not just sun or something else. All the names and forms are superimposed. But then that sun has, how do you say the sun means a name and form? Think sun means, when you say sun, definitely a given body is involved. How will you say without, you don't have a body, how can you call yourself as a son? In fact, you are related to father through the physical body. Please understand, this I am has a no name and form. No name and form. It gets associated with all the names and forms. In fact, it is the basis of all the names and forms. The very I am, which is aparoksha, which is Jagat Karan Brahma. Anyway, so this existence, consciousness, that is my nature. That existence I share with the entire world, which I have discovered earlier as the essence, as the cause of the entire universe, which is Nityam, which is Satyam. So think this way, and then that separation of existence and consciousness, that separation should go. Separation is based on a name and form identification. Please understand that. Name and form identification brings existence outside, consciousness here, existence outside, consciousness here. Then for that person, this given name and form is a equal reality, which is not the case. You are the one who share the existence with the body. The body is, consciousness is. Body is, I am. The mind is, I am. Or the consciousness is, whatever. And therefore, definitely, all the names and forms, they are just superimposition. They are just due to Maya. The reality, the truth is, there is Ishvara all along, or there is Brahman all along. Therefore, Brahma Satyam, Jagan Mithya. Mithya means an appearance. Borrowed existence, shared existence. They don't have existence of its own. And therefore, never say existence of the world, because it doesn't have existence. It doesn't have an existence of its own. When the very existence of the world is the existence of me, Brahman. That way you can see you are the essence of everything. And that is how the one who knows this, won't have any desire. Prajahati yada kaman sarvan parth manogatan, because I had a desire of this, thinking that I am different and this object of desire is different. Ultimately, you are the essence of everything in form of existence and consciousness, and without which even this cannot exist. This is just an appearance. All the kamas are fulfilled, or the kama of a given object, gets dropped, because you are limitless ultimately. Anyway, tad amrutam, tad means that the same Karana Ishvara is amrutam. Amrutam means basically eternal. Let's say infallible. That's a better word. Everyone's heart is searching for something infallible. So that's how somebody makes a statement and later changes that statement. We feel very upset about it because I'm in search of something infallible. And therefore this is amrutam. Amrutam means which does not fall back, does not fall, which does not die away. So, that Karana Ishvara, which is me, is basically infallible. Infallible is Ishvara, Puja Swami's statement. Not Ishvara is infallible. What is infallible is Ishvara, because cannot be negated, does not undergo change. Statement can undergo change. But this Ishvara does not undergo any change. Anyway, that is Nityam. That is the essence. That is Ekam, actually. So Nityam, Amrutam means Nityam, eternal, etc. And that is the aim of every seeker, aim of every human being. Human being is in search of, throughout the life, even if he marries, does not marry, gives, gets a divorce, etc. He is in search of some infallible thing. Getting associated to that, but that's all. He feels, that's finished. It's over. So everybody is in search of infallible. Once you find something fallible, you want to give it away. And then you seek something infallible. So this is called ultimately this Amritam. Amritam means infallible. And so this Karana Ishvara is aim of every spiritual seeker. And so as long as we hold on to this Karya Prapancha, the Karya Prapancha is just fleeting name and form. And one Mahatma calls it as a cardboard chair. So you will never get, you can see it and enjoy it, but you can't sit. This is what the situation of this world is. All the names and forms, because they are appearances. If it is something concrete, tangible, then definitely it will give you something. Anything tangible will give you something which you want, perhaps. May not be totally, but gives you at least in a partial way. This does not give, it is a fleeting, totally fleeting thing. Based on this existence of me, they are shining, appearing with this kind of an existence. And they still, it's a product of Maya, so it as to attracts towards it for security, peace, happiness, etc. So if we hold on to this Karya Prapancha, definitely we will not be able to gain this Amritam, definitely, because it's a fleeting. And so for transaction it is all right, but for peace, security and happiness, we should not hold on to these names and forms or a Karya Prapancha, but hold on to Karanam, because Karanam does not undergo change. Karyam always undergoes a change. That's fallible. And therefore Upanishad says, Tad Vedavyam, that's your goal to be hit. Vedavyam. And so Vedavyam means goal to be struck or to be hit. That's the Karana Ishvara. Is your goal of life. Hey Somya. And that's how, our, Shankaracharya ji always in Bhaja Govindam. Govindam, Bhaja, Govindam, Bhaja. That Govindam is this Karana Ishvara. So basically, but instead of Govindam, we always hold on to, Karya Prapancha. How do you say, Swamiji? I am all the time holding on to Govinda. I am not holding on to the world. But you know, basically what happens, like suppose today's engagements are there. And we have all types of engagements. Sometimes our mobile reminds us that you have so-and-so engagement also. And you meet a lot of people and all that. And suppose engagements are more. What activity will you drop? Please tell me. You drop activity pertaining to Govinda. You will drop Japam. You will drop Puja. You will not drop engagements with the people. That you won't drop. But this you will definitely drop. I will do tomorrow double. So today if you are doing a Gayatri Japa, suppose 51 times, I will do tomorrow double. But today I can't. Where is the time? I don't have a time to do that. So people drop Govinda, even in a daily activity. They hold on to these names and forms, world, Karya Prapancha. And that's how ultimately at the fag end of the life, we have to hold our head. There is nothing else. That is what. So this mantra teaches hold on to Karanam, because you are searching seeking something infallible. Karanam is infallible. Karyam is always fallible. So never hold on to Karya Prapancha. That is how it is. Anyway, and so, Tad Vedavyam Somya, never give excuses in life. You should have a time for prayer, time for japa, you should have time for classes, have time for everything pertaining to Govinda, which can bring near to Govinda, etc. So, otherwise you will regret at the fag end of the life. Regret and regret will not bring back the life. That's a very naked truth. I consider it as a bitter truth. People cry. I have seen the people crying. That Swamiji, they always think that Swami is doing a lot. But what I am saying is, in general, let's say, people regret so much. Why I should have done this thing, or this thing should have come to me, or particular Swami should have come in my life, should have come earlier, something like that. But then, even if you regret, this is a thing, this paschatapa never brings back the life. So, okay, we can see in the next Janma, that's fine. But next Janma is a Manushya Janma itself is your speculation. I hope it is. But then, these are all reality. And this reality is not to make a person emotional, like that or something. It is to make the person to look for Karanam all the time, rather than getting engaged and entangled in this Karya Prapancha. So Vidhi, Vidhi means better, may you hit this goal, Vedavyam rather, or may you strike that goal, Paramatma, etc., Karanishwara, etc. Dhanurgruhitva Upanishadam Mahasram Sharam Hyupasa Nishitam Sandhayita Ayamya Tadbhava Gatena Chetasa Laksham Tadeva Ksharam Somya Vidhi. So in these two beautiful mantras, mantra number 3 and 4, Upanishad is going to compare the entire spiritual pursuit to archery. So allow hitting this arrow hitting a target with the help of a bow basically is the archery, we know that. And the entire spiritual life also is compared to the process of archery. What are the comparisons the Upanishad wants to give? See, the Jivatma is compared to the arrow, Sharam. The word Sharam is there, Sharam means an arrow. And this Karanishwara, Paramatma is definitely the target, is the goal. And the Shastra basically representing this Jnanam, etc. So the Shastra is represented as a Omkara here. And Shastra Vichara is considered as a bow. So these are various comparisons. So Omkara represents the Shastram. Shastra Vichara basically is compared to the bow. And with the help of the bow, the arrow reaches the target. The Jivatma reaches the target. So with the help of Omkara, the Shastram and Shastra Vichara, which we generally call as a Jnana Yoga, this Jivatma, this arrow, reaches the target called Paramatma or Karanishwara. So this is a comparison here. Now, so when this thing this kind of an imagery is given to us, what occurs in our mind is that, as the arrow is reaching the target, means there is a physical distance between an arrow and the target. Same way, there must be a distance between a Jivatma called arrow and the target called Paramatma, Karanishwara. There is a physical distance. So that kind of a wrong notion can appear in our mind. Generally, whenever in the Shastra, when they give a varieties of the examples, and the examples should be given, but we should remember, we should not extend a certain limit. In all the ways, a example and for which we have given an example cannot match. It cannot match. In certain aspect, example matches. So when images, this imagery of this, archery is told, and you find definitely a arrow reaches to the target, and there is a physical distance between that, and here Jivatma is compared to the arrow, Paramatma Karan Ishvara is compared to the target, and therefore you find there is a distance between Jivatma and Paramatma physically. Well, if it is so, then the whole vision of Vedanta goes away. And therefore, it has to be, we should not compare in that way, but we have to make it ourselves clear regarding that. Now, when we say Paramatma is Karan, means Ekam, Saram, etc., then Paramatma is a Saram or essence of everything, whole world. When we say Paramatma being all pervading, and there is no physical distance between Jivatma and Paramatma. The very essence of this Jivatma is Paramatma. Essence of this also is a Paramatma. Essence of this particular name and form also is a Paramatma. And therefore there is really no distance. Being essence will be present in every name and form, and therefore, well, it is present here also. So therefore there is no physical distance between a Jivatma and Paramatma, or Jivatma arrow and Paramatma target. If there is no physical distance, then what is a distance? Because we have to take, some way we have to take it as, form of a distance, because you are giving an imagery. Okay, then well, the other type of distance is a time-wise distance. And there is no time-wise distance. Also, certain things are distant in time. Like suppose if I am a 50-year-old, well, in order to have a Shashtebda Purti, right, which is generally celebrated at the age of 60, right, and then Shashtebda Purti, well, I have to wait. So I have to survive 10 years and I have to wait. So that's a distance in terms of time. So the target is Shashtebda Purti at the age of 60, and then I am right now suppose a 50. Then this is not a physical distance. There is no physical distance. This is a distance, a temporal distance they call. Earlier it was a special distance between a arrow and that target in terms of time, in terms of space, place, physical distance. But here this is a temporal distance called, or a time-wise distance, and that is also not there in the case of Jivatma and Paramatma, because the very essence of Jivatma is Paramatma, and therefore, well, it is right there, it is present. It is not that Jivatma will have an essence in future as a Brahman, etc. Well, that's not. The very Jivatma stands on this Paramatma. The very existence, consciousness of the Jivatma is, which is the essence, which is right there at this moment, and therefore time-wise distance also is not there. Physical distance is also not there. Without essence, the thing cannot exist, and therefore essence is at one place and the name and form is at other place. That is also not there. So there is no physical distance, there is no time-wise distance. Then what is a distance? You know very well, right? It's a distance in terms of ignorance, right? And that we will see tomorrow. Little detail we will see. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.